Hello, brothers and sisters, and thank you for joining me for this film today. This is the Great Train Robbery, 1903. The Great Train Robbery was released in December of 1903, directed by a builder of film projectors, and cameras, Edwin S. Porter, who was given a special commission in 1901 by the Edison Manufacturing Company after his workshop was destroyed in a fire. His new job was to improve Edison's existing projection equipment. After being successful, Porter was given a regular job as a cameraman for Edison's New York film studio. Back then, the cameraman was also the film's director. He made a few short sketches that left him feeling a little bored, but a perk to having this kind of job was that he was able to watch foreign films and see what others were doing in the field, which brought him to discovering a French pioneer director by the name of Georges Méliès. Upon seeing Georges Méliès' A Trip to the Moon, Porter was quoted as saying, "I came to the conclusion that a picture telling a story might draw the customers back to the theaters." So, Porter set to work to make more complex films. His next film was 1902's Jack and the Beanstalk, borrowing much from Méliès' style, and followed it up with 1903's Life of the American Fireman. His films did really well, making him a leading filmmaker at the most important American studio. In October of 1903, Porter teamed up with a new Edison hire, G.M. Anderson. Anderson invented sight gags and often acted in films. Together they filmed The Great Train Robbery. So, without further ado, we are going to watch The Great Train Robbery. Starting in 3, 2, 1, now. Now there is no audio, so I'm just going to throw some audio underneath. Oftentimes, back when they made these movies, I can see the train in the back, that's cool. I haven't seen this in years. But oftentimes, a lot of movies were set up as being like stage plays. Yeah, stuff like the set doors, the clock on the wall is just a picture of a clock. It's very early, can't really judge them too harshly. So making as most of the frame as possible. I think if Porter had seen a widescreen movie, he would have definitely jumped on that bandwagon and said, "Oh, I gotta do that." Is that water for the train? Is that what that is? Last time I saw this movie, I think I was like 15 years old. I wanted to know everything about filmmaking at the time, so basically as many old films as I could watch, I tried watching. Some of them I couldn't watch. I had to get a book from the library and just look at picture stills of them. You gotta give the dude kudos. I mean, you actually feel like you're on a train. I mean, the scene looks like it's really on a train. No, he put in the typical, or not really typical, stereotypical Georges Méliès explosion there. Nice touch. This definitely does have got a little brutal there for a second, didn't it? But definitely has like an old school Western vibe. In fact, this is reminding me a little bit of a Red Dead Redemption Zombie Nightmare, or Undead Nightmare, sorry, Undead Nightmare, where you have to, I believe you have to take the train to Mexico. I mean, there was a lot of train stuff happening in that game, the first one even. But it's just that camera shot was just reminding me a lot of Undead Nightmare. They got a lot of extras for this film, didn't they? Dude. One thing about silent movies as opposed to the talkies that came out. I believe it was the 20s the talkies started coming out. So the late 20s. Whereas back when it was a silent, you could have like a villain in a movie and not really know what he sounded like, and you kind of use your imagination to make up what they probably sound like, or what exactly is being said, and then they intercutted the subtitles, or there was a name that they used to clip the movie and then put like a still image of text on the screen, so you could see kind of what was being said. And I mean, even those have their perks. I remember when I was younger, I would watch the was it Turner Classic Movies, or was it AMC, American Classic Movies, American Movies Classic? They, for October, they would put up older movies, like silent movies that were like horror related, and that's where I saw Nosferatu for the first time. And they would put up the German text. They didn't put up American text or English text, American text. And at the time, I did not understand. I think I knew like 2 German words, and that was about it. And then years later, I actually learned a fair amount of German and was able to go back and watch that again, and it's like, oh, that's what was said. Interesting. So they made it off the train. That dude's having a bit of an issue getting on his horse. There we go. He got it. Well, you've been on that floor a long time, dude. They throw some water. Hey, it worked. I got some square dancing going on. Is that square dancing or line dancing? I think that's more square dancing. Get it, man. Get it. Why is it whenever you see the woods in old movies, it just seems more spookier than anything else? I don't know. Woods in an old movie just creepy for some reason. Dude. He just succumbed right there on the side of the road. This guy gonna help? Hmm? Oh. Oh, one down. Two down. They fought law and law won. Dude. Firing right into the camera. You just shot the whole audience. And that's the end of the Great Train Robbery. Gotta wonder in the end, like if they had the concept of sequels, you know, what would have happened at the end, honestly? Would that really have been the Rangers coming and killing off the bad guys and taking the money back to the bank? Or is the sequel going to be the Rangers saying, you know, that's a lot of money there. We could split this all up amongst ourselves. But there you have it. That was the Great Train Robbery from 1903. And definitely, I think it's everyone should be conscious of the fact that this movie exists, or this film exists, because it's a very early film in which, because you got to think a lot of films at the time were short subjects that were basically, this is everyday life, or we're filming the news, or let's capture that on film, let's capture that on film. And there really weren't a whole lot of stories dedicated to, let's tell a story, which I really like about that degree of filmmaking, is let's tell a story. And I like that he was influenced so much by Georges Méliès and Le Voyage de la Luna, or Trip to the Moon, which we're definitely going to cover on this channel because I go back and watch that every once in a while because I truly like that movie. Georges Méliès had a few that I really liked. Yeah, we may even go through some of Edwin S. Porter's catalog and do some of those. We got Jack the Beanstalk and Life of an American Fireman, which you're going to see clips of those in the beginning of this because when I edit them, I'm going to show like clips of them. But we may actually go in and do those at some point. But there was a lot of very inventive, or should I use the word innovative, early filmmakers that, some today would look at them and say, oh, that's cheesy. And of course, back then there was nothing to compare it to. That was it. It was like, you know what? We have to take a square peg and put it in a round hole. How are we going to do that? Well, this is what we came up with. And audiences back then, it worked. It worked. So, anyway, that's where this video is going to end. Thank you so much for watching. And keep your eyes open. Keep making your head movies. I really don't have a good segue out of these videos yet, but the day is still young. I'll think of something. But until next time. Goodbye.